When it comes to cars, home improvement, and sex, he's a do-it-yourselfer. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get it on. Mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. Saw the ratings went up last week, so thank you, Gina Grad.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And, Bald Brian's still home. But
it's awful quiet.
Hope he's doing better.
Yeah, he didn't sound good. You know, it was crazy because the day before he sounded fine, like right. And then on the phone, it seemed to really hit him.
Yeah, it's tough because my voice was shot a couple of days ago too. But oftentimes you aren't as bad as your voice.
So I've heard that about my singing.
Auditions. It happens that your voice sounds like shit, but really, I didn't feel that bad, but my voice sounded like shit. So hopefully.
Also, he did say he was basically completely reclined with his phone in his lap.
Yes. So we'll hope we'll get you guys an update whenever we get an update. But speaking of updates, we have another Bobby Hollander clip.
Yes.
Maybe we'll wait for Brad Williams for that.
Ted Koppel might have some thoughts about it.
Oh, that's a good point. And then also news, which is the Napoleon, Amazon wants to be a stand-up comedian, black general controversy that I raised in yesterday's show. Well, it turns out he did have a black general.
What?
Now, not the same guy, I'm sure, so I'm still correct. He had a black general, and so says Chris. Somebody tweeted him, I think. And then that guy's son went on to write The Three Musketeers.
That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah, so his name's the general's name is Thomas Alexander Dumas. He's actually half black, half white. Mom was a slave. Mm-hmm. He was nicknamed the Black Devil.
Oh, boy.
He was a black man who rose to be a 4-star general, the highest rank for a man of color in an all-white army before Colin Powell. And him and Napoleon actually did not get along by the end of it.
That's why he's shooting him daggers in that face.
That's right. Still say the guy to his right's black, but I can't prove it. No. I like that historically we took 331 years off of promoting a black man to the level of general.
Yeah.
We had like one in Napoleon's army.
That's good enough for now.
Desert Storm in 2001.
Yeah.
We took a little time off.
Yeah.
But maybe he did a horrible job. No one ever, there may have been a cooling down period.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes people, in the 80s that bought themselves a new Audi and it was nothing but trouble.
And when did we hear about Audi again?
It took 20 years.
That's right.
That same person probably didn't buy their second Audi for 30 years after that.
This is apples to apples.
Maybe this general did a shit job in the Napoleonic War.
We learned our lesson.
And society went, let's wait a while.
Right.
Yeah, and his son, Alexander Dumas, became the French novelist who wrote The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So that's a little update for you.
I hate debating anything with you. Leave the picture up for a second because I'm being conservative, but 99% of the time you're right. I got to dig my heels in on that guy though, not being black.
I don't have him as black. I have him as not white, or could be black. There's something about the nose and the eyes, but now we're just going to have to find the actor, I guess.
I tried looking.
He has features that do not appear blacker than white, but I don't know. Dawson, do you have thoughts? I can't figure it.
I think that with the shadow over his face, he does look a bit darker, but I think that the beard is what's throwing us off. Because if you kind of look at it at a glance, looks like Samuel L. Jackson's character in Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of beard that guy had.
I'm not really responding to his tone, his skin tone. It's his eyes and his nose that have a sort of, sometimes brothers go like blue-eyed or green-eyed or something, and they take on that look. That's what's hitting me, but I don't know. I can't tell. Anyway, we'll find out.
We must.
Someone will find out who cast this thing, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm just happy we have equity in commercials.
that's right. And there is a black general, or there was a black general.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the Bobby Hollander thing that you guys got, porn director, guy I remember from my youth.
MC.
Yes. I didn't have, let's see. My family was always late from a technological standpoint.
Sure, I buy that.
My dad, in terms of stereophile, he got his stuff from the Radio Shack. Now people might get batteries from the Radio Shack, and they might get something that, freestanding magnifying glass that you could solder under or something. But most people didn't get speakers and
they're big tech.
receivers and stuff from Radio Shack.
Right.
My dad got his shit from Radio Shack, and maybe it was just part of his sort of loser ethos, like I deserve the worst for everything. But the speakers are bad when there's no ports for the speaker wire in the back. There's just a hole in a piece of cardboard that's behind the speaker.
Oh, boy.
And the speaker wire just dies into the hole.
Right.
So
You don't want to ask a lot of questions.
they give you 5 foot of speaker wire. It had a jack on one side, and the other was soldered into the speaker, and that was the range you had. But I guess anyone who made that stereo system realized you didn't have a big enough house.
Right. Where's he going?
To spread those speakers around. But
he's not getting up.
He also had the 8-track receiver, turntable, cassette player all in one unit. See, all the guys that had the good stuff had the dedicated units. They had a rack.
Right.
This was one brick.
All in one.
That did everything not that well. And also, his first move was beta. It wasn't the VHS type. You had a choice. It was sort of, do you want to go metric or you want to go standard? My dad cashed in on metric.
That checks out.
And then you couldn't get movies in beta. You couldn't get anything in beta because we as a society had to pick a lane. And much like AC or DC with electricity, we just picked.
Right.
And my dad came up snake eyes, so he got the beta. And it's all right. We didn't rent movies or have movies, and all the movies then my grandmother would get would be in the VHS
I was gonna say,
format.
What were you watching?
Well, that's the point. My dad never had porn, and we had nowhere to watch it or anything. So when I ended up with Bobby Hollander, that was always a friend's that, if you ask me any story, like, when's the first time you went, fill in the blank, motorcycle riding, water skiing, watched porn,
sure,
whatever that thing is, I'll go, so-and-so's dad, and then I'll finish the rest of the story. Had a truck, had a ski boat, had a VHS player.
Extra seat in the car.
Had some porn,
right,
like something. And so we used to steal them from the dad and watch Bobby Hollander. He had like 3. Let's see. Had Sex Boat.
Sure. Oh, that's a Bobby Hollander vehicle?
No.
Oh.
There was Taboo 2.
Right.
Sex Boat, and then whatever this Bobby Hollander presents is.
I see.
And again, very intrigued as a young man because one eye was a crazed, horny teenager, and the other eye was a seasoned comedian. You know what I mean?
Budding.
I was like watching this guy breaking down the fourth wall
with a
talking
soliloquy
to the camera with his big pork chop sideburns and Jufro and shirt undone to his navel, and I was like, this guy should be. He's a Second City character. This is a Groundlings character. This is a SCTV type guy.
This is Bob Ross's evil twin.
Yes. Yeah. So, and it dawned on me. So we played a little of him from yesterday.
Not enough.
I wouldn't mind the top of yesterday's a little bit, but we can also see what you found. Now, what'd you find today, Chris?
Well, Kalen found it.
Nice.
He's scouring the internet. It's actually, it's called, that's Personal Touch Part 3, so the third in the series where we saw the first one yesterday.
Will we be able to keep up? Because we haven't seen 2.
I think so, yeah. He's very good at explaining what's going on.
Of course he is.
Yeah, and in the third one, the new one that we'll show today, it's actually in the middle of the movie, so Caitlin had to scrub through it.
Sure.
And find it.
Don't
in
let your
between-
children on
in
your
between
computer.
scenes. Yeah. So yeah, we'll find the other one too.
All right, well, let's play the one he found. So this is part 3.
Yeah, this is part 3.
Again, died in the
And-
99, somewhere in there.
2002,
202.
and he's with a porn star named Lisa DeLeo.
Familiar? But we'll
Unless,
see.
could be Lisa DeLue, but
It might be DeLu. Yeah, she said her name, but she kind of mumbled.
what
it,
do
so-
I know?
What do I know either?
All right, redhead.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Okay.
think I know her.
You thought you'd get away with this one without me.
This is Bobby Hollander.
And this is Lisa DeLeo.
You got it right.
Oh.
Some people call her Lisa DeLue. The correct pronunciation is Lisa DeLeo.
I'm so glad he's not an actor.
He's wearing a
I
gi
wish I
now.
was, because you can't see me now, but
Oh,
I
my.
have
Really getting
the
himself a
famous
handful.
42. What are these?
42.
They're just tiny.
Tiny.
Yeah.
tiny
Grabbing her
mountains
tits.
Of gorgeous breasts. Knowing us 6 or 7 years and the first time we've worked together. We hope you enjoyed the first scene you just saw. And
What's coming up?
if the cameraman would pan down, it's my Mr. Johnson
Hey-o.
Hey,
and Mr. Loomis. Who's coming up?
Me.
Oh, so soon.
Yes.
You're going to see Lisa and
Tantala.
Tantala
He has a cigarette.
I was got a cigarette.
Jerry.
That's awesome.
and Jerry. I don't know if Jerry is into this.
We'll find out in a minute.
It took Tantala about 10 seconds to persuade him.
I had nothing to do with it.
And it's a little something different. Personal Touch Part 3. And we hope you enjoy it. Now, Lisa's going to run off and change her wardrobe. Tantala's getting ready. And Jerry happens to be all tied up at the time.
I'll say.
So let's get ready and watch this one.
Oh,
So
my
creepy,
God. That one's worse than yesterday's. This is worse.
Well, this is more concentrated.
Yeah.
His was
I wasn't ready for this kind of dose.
spread out.
Yeah.
Yesterday took place over 8 minutes. This was a much more concentrated dose.
Yeah.
of
And
Bobby Hollander.
allow me to.
Still not the one from my youth.
Really?
Wow.
How many are there?
I know yesterday you and Greg were talking. Somebody said, "Oh, do you think there are cue cards?" And I think this shows that there are no cue cards like this
No.
in
Yeah.
the last clip.
He didn't
Well,
know
first
what he was
off-
introducing.
He didn't know how to pronounce her last name. Or I guess he corrected her on her last name.
Before we move on, I just got to take off my feminist hat and say I have a theory about these ladies. So the one from yesterday, very pretty.
Shauna Grant.
Yeah, very sweet, very, sought after. And she wasn't that into him. Now, today's offering,
Lisa DeLue.
yeah, not, I don't think probably as sought after sexually. And she really had to give him her all. You know what I mean?
Well, we were catching, this is from the early-ish 80s, 83, 84 in there.
Yeah.
We were catching Lisa toward the tail end,
Yeah.
one of her movies, I'm sure, titles. We were catching her toward the end of her career.
And some tough hair. That's not
And
her
she
fault.
didn't go out like, Tom Brady. You know what I mean? There was a decline.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
fair.
So this is not 70s Lisa DeLue.
I see.
This is, I need a job, put on a couple of pounds,
Yeah, this
maybe
is-
had a kid or two
Right.
and a bad divorce, Lisa DeLue.
Right.
So she's a little more open.
I see. Thank you.
Shauna Grant, we caught on the way up.
Oh, did we?
Right. So she needed, Bobby Hollander needed Shauna Grant. I know it's an old wife, and your grandparents have told you this many times,
Right.
but at some point, we're all going to become, hopefully we'll all be Shauna Grant, but at some point, we're going to become Lisa DeLue.
Yeah.
That's the arc of life.
Right.
And
Just stave that off. As
you got to
long as
be
you can.
nicer on the way up
Right.
because there will be a way down.
Yes.
Unless you kill yourself a year later, like Shauna Grant did.
That's the part my grandparents always leave out.
Right. There's always that option.
Right.
Of not being enthusiastic on
Right.
the way up, killing yourself before you get to the way down.
Right.
But this is I need a job, Lisa DeLue.
I'm seeing that now.
in there with Bobby Hollander
Ira Sachs.
and the mystery man known as Jerry, although it could be Jerry Butler, which is the only
Who's
Jerry
that?
porn star name I remember from the 80s.
Jerry Davis.
Oh, man.
You're slipping.
I'm slipping, man. So, is this Bobby from yesterday?
Yeah, this is Bobby from Personal Touch.
Just watch 30 seconds of it because I can't get enough.
Hi. You thought it was Alfred, but it's not. My name is Bobby Hollander,
Alfred
and I'd
Hitchcock.
like to introduce you
Hold
to
on.
a tape.
Do they have a similar directing style, or is that just a completely off-the-cuff joke?
That is the way Alfred Hitchcock would
Enter, right.
enter to
Yeah,
the thing,
I know, but I'm saying, is he often mistaken for him? No?
I see him
I'm
using
asking.
the
Well,
Dutch
every
angle.
now and then.
He might have a movie called Rear Window.
It's true.
Wow.
All right, Bobby.
Called the personal touch. Now, the personal touch is something different in home entertainment. It's strictly adult, strictly X, and it's hot. It's so hot, it's going to blow your balls off. It's going to want to make you wet your panties. It's going to want to make you reach in and grab it. It's going to want to make you come right on your television screen.
Around.
The personal touch means
Right on.
personal touch. It stars Shauna Grant, Sharon Mitchell, Paul Thomas, Ron Jeremy, Dominique.
Hold
a
on.
newcomer to the screen, Gene.
He's got, God, I'm trying to think of the actor's name.
He reminds me of Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah, it's got that. But I was thinking, we can probably mash this up. I'm trying to think. I'm just spacing on.
Give us what you got.
Dog Day Afternoon is.
Oh, Fredo? Who's the other one?
Pacino?
Pacino.
Oh,
It's got,
yeah.
Rewind it like 20 seconds and picture Pacino. Just close your eyes and picture Pacino.
You come right on your television screen. The personal touch means personal touch. It stars Shauna Grant, Sharon Mitchell, Paul Thomas, Ron Jeremy, Dominique, a newcomer to the screen, Gene Hollow. The personal touch was shot on videotape to give you the finest quality in adult entertainment. It's going to let you, the home viewing audience, get out of your bed, off your couch, out of the bar, and you guys that are watching it in a bar, we're going to be into the bathroom in a minute, pulling your wang wang. I don't mean to say it in an obscene way.
Oh, you don't?
We wanted to make it that way. Shauna Grant in this film, whose stars you've seen in Penthouse, you've seen in Swank, High Society.
And when he says
Chic,
high society, he doesn't mean
Velvet.
in high society.
Not the Gilded Age.
Where's that music
She's
coming from?
gorgeous. She's
Is that there
young,
from
she's
yesterday?
blonde, and she has a body that'll blow you away. She's going to tell you how you can write to her personally and get a free, black and white, personally autographed photo of her just by sending your name and address. It's no hope, it's no joke. And we know the personal touch is hot. Ladies, go out. I hope you have new batteries for your vibrator. Husbands, whip 5 on yourself or do it lubricated. But this tape is designed to make you want to do it. It's
All right.
directed
So,
to
like,
you.
when you think about Boogie Nights, they had Feel My Touch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is the personal touch.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do, this is all gold.
You got the power.
It's right there.
It also turns out that there is an Alfred Hitchcock connection. He directed The 39 Stepmothers
That's funny.
and Peter North by Northwest.
Well done.
That's funny. I wonder, him and Pacino have a
Yes.
distinct thing. I wonder if they're from the same neck of the woods. Like, I wonder where Bobby hails from.
Sort of bassy and breathy.
Sure, they named the junior high after him, whatever town. You can probably find it that way.
I'm going to say Brooklyn.
Just go Bobby Hollander Junior High, and I'm sure a bunch of
Pop right up.
places will pop up. He's got some Pacino in
Yeah.
there. We'll see if we can if we can mix that one up at some point. Anyway, we're still on a quest because now we have to order some DVDs, right, Chris?
Yeah.
I mean, this still isn't the one I remember, but most of it is in DVD format now, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not really uploading a ton of Bobby Hollander content.
What's wrong with the internet?
I know.
See these goddamn kids opening presents and trying out stuff. 2 billion views.
Yep.
But fucking Slim Pickens with an American hero like Bobby Hollander.
No, you're right. He's a national treasure.
Yeah, so Al Pacino, born in East Harlem, raised in the Bronx. And here's a picture of Al Pacino from Serpico.
He looks like him. They got the same nose. They got a little...
A lot of similarities.
Yeah, it's got a little Jim Carolla meets Al Pacino. But they just sound alike.
It's quite
to
a
me.
recipe. No, you're right. It is. There's like a breathy quality.
It's the right era, though. It's not super early Al, and it's not over the top Al.
Right.
It's sort of middle career
You
Al
broke my heart,
Pacino.
Fredo.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. You can totally hear "You Broke My Heart, Fredo" in Bobby Hollander's voice.
Yeah.
Maybe he missed his calling.
Is he wearing? It's not a Star of David. Is he wearing the Italian horn?
It's hard to tell
Maybe the continent of Africa?
from this, but look, I know a lot of podcasts pay tribute to Bobby Hollander on a daily basis, but I feel that's lip service. Like
Yeah.
when Bob Saget died, everyone
Right.
was his best friend.
Right.
I knew Bobby Hollander. I
You knew him
watched the man.
intimately.
I knew him when I was 18.
Yeah. It's a
So
real
I
coming of
understand-
age.
Understand the man. All right, so we'll see if we can work that mashup. Gina,
Yeah.
leaf blower
Oh
update.
boy! So a couple of weeks ago, I showed you at 6:30 in the morning a guy leaf blowing an empty parking lot outside of Rite Aid. Well, I was lucky enough to be driving home the other day and catch the very same man, or at least the man with the very same job, in the very same empty parking lot at 5:30 at night. And I didn't want Chris or anyone else to think I was telling tall tales. So I did get a video of it when I was at the light at Magnolia. And please explain this to me. Same Rite Aid, same parking lot.
Just blowing,
5:40 at night, empty parking lot.
blowing dirt everywhere.
He's alone.
Well, I guess you got to do it when cars aren't in the parking lot. It is.
Nobody there.
It's just a big cloud of shit in the air, along with a whole bunch of noise.
But it's called a leaf blower.
Right.
So what are we doing in an empty parking lot?
He's blowing dust
Everywhere.
everywhere. That's what it is. And anyone who got their car washed or parked their car, look, it's nonstop discussions about kids and asthma and breathing and masking and whatever. So we have 100 million thoughts about young kids with masks in classrooms or outdoors playing sports.
And how?
We have 0 thoughts about plumes of leaf blower dust and people walking their dogs through the plume of dust. Anyone will tell you it's the particulates.
Right.
That's what gets in your lungs
Right.
and stays in your lungs.
The dust mites and all that shit.
Yes, whatever is on the ground, which is the worst in a city. Whatever's on the ground is it's the worst we have to offer.
Yes.
It's whatever pesticides, whatever
Dog shit.
decomposing cockroaches, whatever vulcanized rubber, the little bits that comes off the asphalt, the tires, soot. Whatever pollution,
That's where it lands.
Whatever's bad, it just ends up in the street, on the sidewalk,
Yes.
in the parking lot. That is the worst a city. Fertilizer,
Yes.
whatever's out, that's what's on the ground. And then these guys make a cloud of it, and then you walk through it. That has essentially been the plan for 30 years. I make a cloud of this shit in the parking lot or on the lawn. I blow it toward the street, and you who walk with your kids or walk your dog or your kid walks your dog, you shall pass through the cloud
Right in the middle.
on your way to wherever. And then we'll go back to running PSAs on secondhand smoke
Yes.
that are creeping through the conduit from the white guy's apartment and poisoning the brown kid in the crib.
Right. Yeah, you got it.
That's the plan.
And at first, the first time I saw this, I figured, because that's like a little dentist office there, I was like, oh, I get it. They want to keep their parking lot clean, but come on. I don't think it's theirs. I think whoever owns that lot, because they're blowing dirt and shit all over the window of the dentist office. So who
Right.
hired this guy?
I don't know, but it's on. Sorry, I got a cough.
It's like the worst version of Fantasia. Like he's Mickey with the hat and he's just summoning all this shit from the road.
Well, it's illegal,
Yeah.
and they do it right on the street. So
Brazen.
I know I brought it up a few times. We're getting there, but everyone just goes, get the electric power one. That's going to solve the problem. It doesn't solve the plume of fucking cancerous shit that everyone walks through. It stops the sound to some degree,
Right.
and it stops the pollution to another degree, but it doesn't stop the cloud, which is the main part of it. That when I'm walking through my neighborhood on a Saturday, I don't really care about the sound or what's coming out of the tailpipe. I care about the plume of dust that
Yeah.
I'm walking my dog through. So
The labyrinth.
the electric one's not going
Does
to
it matter?
All right. So do we care or don't we care? I've surmised we don't care.
Yeah.
All right. We have somebody tweeted me some pictures. I've now really figured out, after living through it, that 1974 was the worst year. I was 10, and it's the worst year ever made. It's the worst.
Aesthetically.
It's the worst. Politically, it was shit.
It was
Nixon giving way, Ford.
Right
I
before,
guess
yeah.
Nixon gave way to Ford. Politically, it was a mess. Fashion was a mess.
coming out of Vietnam.
Architecture, mess. Automobiles, mess.
Material mess.
Gabardine,
Yeah. Polyester, everything.
the weird pleather, leather,
Yes.
vinyl,
Yes.
furniture. Everything was the worst. It was the worst, and now I'm including hairstyles.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody tweeted me a picture of all these 1974 hairstyles, and it's just the worst. Everything was the worst. It was
Like a dwarf made it in there.
it was just the worst.
And this is why I know we can be sort of mass hypnotized, because somebody was wearing one of those styles and was like, this is a panty dropping hairdo. And
Yeah.
it was.
Well, you know what I think the problem is with hair? There was a decree. I think this is the problem. You guys tell me. What we said was you have to declare major with your hair.
Okay.
And people went, huh? And we went, you have to pick a style. What style is your hair going to be?
Right.
Now, my hairstyle now is not really style. It's the shape that my hair takes.
Right.
That's about it.
That's the curly haired vibe.
But
You don't cut a style into curly hair.
in 74, we were like, hey, man, you need to have long hair. And you're like, well, I'm 63 and I'm balding. Well, that's all right. Just
See what you can do.
grow one side really long and just slop it over the other side.
Wrap it around like
Yeah.
the Tasty Freeze guy.
And they're like, oh, well, we need a kind of long hair that kind of feathers back and pulls back. And you're like, but I have super thick, coarse Sicilian hair. Like, well, that's all right. Just mat it down and
Do what you can.
pull it back. Like,
yeah. Relax it.
the trouble comes from there is a hairstyle, and we're going to take your round peg and we're going to shove it up the ass of this square blank, and we're
Yeah.
going to force your
Yeah.
hair into this style. There is no one hairstyle now.
No.
There's just, however, what best suits your hair is your
Godspeed.
hairstyle. I
Yes.
mean, just think about it. You look around this place. You got Dawson, you got Max Patton, you got Gary, and
Fondelier.
Horse and Punisher, and you have everyone. Brian, me, everyone's hair is just taking on the shape that their hair takes on.
Right.
Imagine if you just decreed one hairstyle. Everyone, Dawson, Max Patton, myself, include myself. We're going with a look,
Bottom left.
and we need you to do that look. And your thing would be like, well, my hair doesn't really do that.
Not up to me. That's a you problem.
You got to get your hair to do it. Well, there is the 10% whose hair does do it, and they are going to reap the rewards. But
Big
the
man
other
on campus.
90% are going to be punished because we're going to be trying to stuff our hair into a style.
That's right.
You walk around. I took Natalia to the Glendale Galleria yesterday. You look around, there's 50 different types of hair within 10 feet of you.
Yeah.
Got the long extension, got the short, got the crop.
The pixie.
Women, men, everything just worked. Or no hair.
Yeah.
Shave it clean.
Yeah. Shave it smooth.
So the worst we have to offer aesthetically as a society is when we decide there's a style.
Right.
So when we go, all right, here's the new color for kitchens, burnt orange and avocado. And you go, I got a Spanish from 1919.
You heard the decree.
Burnt orange or avocado. And you go, well, they didn't really do that back then. I told you what the style was.
We'll
Now,
compromise mustard yellow.
and you go, I got these nice vaulted coves. So you can spray some cottage cheese acoustic on there. It's like, but it doesn't fit with the architecture of, hey, man.
You got
this is
ears?
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. So now we have a society where you just do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
This is basically like saying, here's the fashion. And you go, I don't look very good in a tank top. They go, doesn't matter.
Tank top.
Put it on, fatty.
Yep.
You look like, what's his name from Boogie Nights in that thing.
John C. Reilly?
No, Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, poor Philip. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
right.
my point. That's where we're at. So
Yeah.
70s, it wasn't so much that anyone's hair was different. It's that we went, here's your hairstyle.
Yeah, figure it out. Make it work. But they didn't.
And then, sorry, we ruined the lives of many a youth.
Yeah. Oh.
Many a poor girl was trying to mat it down and blow it out and straighten it up.
Between all the Bradys, I mean,
Right.
you see Jan and Marcia brushing their silken corn silk hair. What are you supposed to do? What was I supposed to do? I was up Schitt's Creek.
My hair, if anyone is interested, my hair went the exact same direction as Peter Brady.
Oh, no.
The
Trajectory.
trajectory, move for move, week for week, day for day.
Did you do the side part, like Splitsville that he did?
I had the young Adam who had straight hair, like the young Brady.
Right.
Then there was hit puberty Adam.
Time to change.
Hair, trying to rearrange.
Yeah.
Hair started freaking out, still trying to mash it into the old shape.
Right.
That was a tough slog for a few
Yeah.
years. Then full perm.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the Bradys went.
Yeah.
That's where I went.
But at any point, did you try to part your hair, like on the
Oh,
side?
yeah. Oh, no, in the middle.
Oh,
Side part was for squares when I was.
I didn't realize that.
That was for Mike Brady,
I see.
not
Thank you.
Peter. All
Well,
right.
at least you guys didn't have to endure the claw bangs.
Oh.
And it was easy to tell who didn't have an older sister, a.k.a. me, because they always look fucked up. I already had the Jew fro all over the place, mullet cut, and trying to style those bangs. I couldn't do the waterfall. I couldn't do any of the moves that the other girls could do.
Claw bangs.
Remember that? And the waterfall where it went up and down and then a little in the front.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right. Let me.
There it is.
There's me. Now, to be fair to me in that picture, I just took off my football helmet, so my hair was a little tousled.
Richard Simmonsy.
Yeah, but that was me from East Valley Trojans with Henry or James Boyd. Could never remember. Two black twins I played football with. All right, let me tell you about X Chair. From the first moment I sat in my X Chair, I thought, wow, this is what a real office chair is supposed to feel like. Now, full disclosure, I got mine before these guys came on as a sponsor. I'm sitting on one now, but I've had one at home for a long time. You start to look forward to getting to work when you get to sit in your X Chair. Your current office chair can't give you the massage or the heat or the cool down. X Chair with LMX massage and temperature regulation exclusively designed for X Chair. Plus, customized support for X Chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar or DVL. and you can try it out for yourself risk-free for 30 days. And once you realize how much better your chair is, your X chair is, you'll never go back to your old chair. It's X chair, right, Dawson?
Go to xchairadam.com now. That's a letter X, chair, ADAM.com, or call 844-4XChair for $100 off your order. X Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase with as little as $30 a month. xchairadam.com.
All right, the great Brad Williams in studio right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, finally got to see the Hammer. Underrated. Loved it. Enjoy your podcast. Take care, brother.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, the Hammer isn't underrated. It's just underseen, which is maybe
point.
worse than underrated. It's rated fine.
Yeah,
just
for those who
never shows
checked it
up
out.
on any of the basic cable carriers. All right, we got Brad Williams.
Yes, sir.
White hot Brad Williams has joined us because right in the middle of the Peter Dinklage situation, we talked about it in the news. Brad's now sought after.
You know what?
Media darling.
It just made me realize that there needs to be more famous little people out there because because when one of us has anything that's going on in the news, I'm apparently Dwarf Al Sharpton.
Right.
Where
You are.
everyone has to come to me and be like, well, what's his take on it? And it's just kind of like, I like it. It's a lot of fun, but at the same time, a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. And I don't have the Dwarf Al Sharpton hair.
It's also interesting that we've decided as a society that if something happens to an individual, we just find another individual that sort of looks like that person.
Right.
And they could comment on it.
They're an expert.
When I was 12, I looked like Donny Osmond. So if Donny Osmond got into a plane crash, would they come to me for commentary? Like,
Sure.
well, as a white guy who has big teeth and unruly hair, my feelings are like, we do it with black people. It's like when they interview Jussie Smollett, like, who's going to interview him? We have to find a black person.
Joy Reid.
Yeah, like we have to find a black person, a woman, a thing, a dwarf. Like it's a flaw. First off, that's not really journalism.
No.
This fat guy wants to give an interview. We need a heifer. We need a fat guy to.
Louis
Weigh in.
Anderson passed away.
No pun intended.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we got to find Ralphie May. Oh, he's
Oh,
already
no.
dead. Ah, crap.
John Candy?
All right. Crap. Like, you just have to keep going down.
It's a weird, flawed premise that I've never really signed off on.
But I'm glad Brad is benefiting from it.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But if it was ever true, I would say little people, it would be true for more so than, look, just because your surname is this or you're a woman or you're a lesbian doesn't mean you've shared any of the experiences of the person you're commenting on.
Sure.
But there's a universal experience, I would say more so to being a little person
Sure.
than there is to being Hispanic.
Yeah. Peter and I both have we walk into a shoe store and the only shoes they bring out that fit us have like lightning bolts on them. Or some sort of lighting device,
Right.
Maybe a wheel,
Keyless, yeah.
in the
maybe a
middle.
wheel that could pop out. Like we both have that shared experience where we've tried to pick up a woman with Bob the Builder on our T-shirt. So we both have that. So yeah, we have that similar experiences. And what I heard he said, I listened to him on the podcast. He was on the Marin podcast when he said the thing that blew up on social media. It was strange because I in a way, I agree with him and I disagree with him at the same time.
Before we go any further, I have the
Sure.
quote. Do you want to know what he said, just so we're all on the same page?
Yeah, there's also Ben Folds' song that I think would reflect the
Oh.
Dinklage sentiment.
I know
on
the
this.
song.
Well, you
I'm
better.
excited.
I know. If you're a dwarf, you have to know
Yeah,
this song. It's like the only song that...
It's also a really good song. But sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
It
well, while they're
slaps.
pulling that up, this is what he said. Literally, he's talking about West Side Story. Breakout star Rachel Zegler is supposed to play Snow White. She's Latina. It says, literally, no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback that they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that fucking backwards story about seven dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough.
I mean, there's the easy joke of, well, we didn't see you on the soapbox, Peter.
It's true.
I mean, come on. We have to say it. It's right there.
Yeah.
Like, did no one see me on my soapbox? No,
No,
one
in
saw
fact,
you.
we didn't.
There was a guy who was 5'7" who was standing in front of you.
It was quite a problem.
So for you now, I cite you. I use you as an example of a guy, mostly your dad and how he raised you, and he just went, "Look, you're growing up like everyone else, and I'm not going to outfit the house. You want to get the cereal, you can hop up on the counter.
Yeah.
You're going to have to use your
Adapt.
skill."
Yeah, basically, my childhood was a precursor to American Ninja Warrior.
Right.
Where I was just hopping all over the house and making a ropes course
Got
so
his
I can get my
parkour.
cornflakes in the
Had
morning.
to build a zip line so he could get his socks in the hamper.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I've always appreciated it, and I see it in Brad's comedy. It's very funny. Some dwarf, not much, and I always feel funny first, and I feel that way. There's nothing better than seeing a fat woman of color come out there, do a killer 15-minute set, and having it to be nothing to do with her being fat or skin color or anything, just funny. So your relationship with your size has always, I always felt you're comfortable with it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always felt that I'm not going to try to ignore it. Like, if people stare at me, I'm like, what are you looking at? It's like, I have a feeling. I there's a top three that can kind of be there. So it's like, yes, I'm aware of it. And I've always felt that whatever your thing is, you acknowledge it, you embrace it, so that way no one can make fun of you for it. No one can come at me and be like, I'll make fun of you as a dwarf, because it's like, whatever joke you've made, I've made it a million times already. It's probably on one of my albums.
Right.
So you're not
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, you're not going to tell me something I've never heard before. So yeah, that's my general consensus. And Peter seems to be the same way. I believe he has all average sized family. His brother's actually like a classically trained violinist who used to tour with Rush. Crazy,
Really?
weird fact. But yeah, so it seems like he's been raised in the same way, and he was raised in terms of his acting career where he didn't want to take the roles that were the leprechaun, the elf, all that. He made that conscious decision not to take those roles, as to do those kinds of stereotypes. And but it's this weird thing where he's saying, like, oh, it's bad that we're still doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so he doesn't necessarily want that. But as little people actors, it's like, well, we kind of want to work. We kind of want that part. And if that's what's available, then that's what we'd like to do. But at the same time, I get what he's saying. Because, yeah, people are like, well, was it that bad? I go, yeah, because at the time, dwarves really didn't have any representation. So would you say, oh, that my friend's a dwarf, the Rolodex in people's heads goes right to Snow White.
Happy,
and they go,
grumpy,
like,
sleepy, dopey, sneezy, bashful doc.
Wow.
Yeah.
all right. That's a hidden
I mean, I don't
talent
know.
that I didn't know that you had. Wow.
I'm a fan of the Disney catalog.
I feel like it's that time at the bar where, like, you see your girlfriend fit her whole fist in her mouth, and you just kind of look at her
Wow.
like, when did that come up? When?
Yeah.
How come you didn't tell me you had this talent?
Honey, that was before us.
Oh, that was before you. Okay.
But
Now-
you're right, and now, of course, well, not of course, but Disney has now heard Peter and has thoughts, and they said to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we're taking a different approach to these 7 characters, and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. So, perhaps they won't dress them as gnomes this time.
Personally, I would like to know who the people are in the community. I was not invited to the meeting.
Your phone didn't make a peep.
I didn't get any emails about it, so they're not consulting me. That's for darn
Well,
sure.
I famously went to junior high and high school with the daughter and son of the most famous dwarf of all, Billy Barty.
Right.
He's on the Mount Rushmore
Sure.
of dwarfs, and
Small mountain.
Laurie was a dwarf, but
a hill, really.
But
Yeah.
I don't think the son was.
Yeah.
But Laurie's probably still around. Laurie Barty. I imagine.
Let's go to our
Hold
resident.
on. I'll text her 1 second. I'll see if she's still kicking.
It was always. I'm trying to think of I think she was a grade above me at North Hollywood High, and it was also. It was
The only
a
thing
sort
she
of
was
a,
above you.
ahead of me. There was, it was a novelty factor, but she didn't really get picked on or anything. I just think it must have been hard. Like she probably didn't have a prom date or whatever. I think it was that. But I have no idea. He lived right here in like Studio City area for his whole life. That is, Billy had himself a nice big house on the corner to look alike adjacent.
Ooh, must be nice.
Yeah, he worked.
Living a high life.
He worked a lot, like I said, Mount Rushmore little people. But it's that thing where, like, for a lot of people, you say, like, when you tell people, "Oh, I'm a dwarf," they kind of look at you and go, "Oh, isn't that offensive?" And that's because kind of Snow White, because you hear dwarf, you think, oh, fairy tale, like that's the first thing that pops into your head.
Like nymph.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh no, that's a term that Disney made up. It's like, no, we have dwarfism. That's what we are. And I know you hate this word, Adam, but I'm going to say it. I hope that Disney reimagines the seven dwarves. Maybe they're not all dudes. Maybe they're a couple of women thrown in there. Maybe it's a couple. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, here's the real question. You know, you can take the Karate Kid and make him black, and you can take Cinderella and make her Latina.
Yeah.
But if you make a dwarf 6'1", they're no longer a dwarf.
That's true.
So then how do we work around that?
The first dwarf with gigantism.
Yeah, maybe they beat dwarfism. Maybe they're the first dwarf that beat it. They're like, yeah, got cured. But I do have a solution that you can make the dwarves a more heroic character and less kind of problematic in the ways that Peter says, and that is that in the end of the movie, you have Snow White end up with one of the dwarfs. Because not this prince guy.
Right.
The prince, what is he? Silver spoon in his mouth?
Yeah.
The king just said,
Daddy's
you're a prince
money.
now. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, key part of the story, he makes out with Snow White. Well, she's legally dead.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not consensual.
Kind of a necrophiliac.
Yeah.
Not the best. So you want her to end up with that guy?
I like this.
No, you end up with the dwarves. One of them, they're hardworking, self-made, live in their own house. And it's like, well, but she's a princess. How is she going to live like a princess? The dwarves are diamond miners. We got some change.
That's right. They got some bling.
We've got some money. What princess doesn't like diamonds? Remember the scene where Dopey has the two big diamonds in his eyes?
Yes.
He's got some good sized. Yeah.
Brad, you're genius. And that seriously would be a reflection of Disney now.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what Disney does now. So you're a fucking genius.
Yeah, that's how you end the movie. Dwarves are the hero. They already essentially saved her from the evil queen, and then she gets she eats the apple. She's passed out, and the prince comes in. Oh, I haven't done anything this entire movie.
Yeah.
Why don't I just make out with this dead hot chick? Oh, I marry her now? Sweet.
Right.
Fuck you, Prince.
Yeah, I agree.
You get nothing. You don't get to just mosey in at the end and get all the spoils.
Yeah.
And also,
have her sit on Dopey's face.
You want those two albinos breeding? You know what I mean? The kid's going to be a hemophiliac.
Translucent.
It's a disaster.
You're right.
You don't
you need genetic diversity in there.
Right.
Throw in something. Like I said, I'm vouching for Dopey. He's the youngest of all the dwarves.
Boyish good looks.
Yeah, boyish good. Doesn't talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Snow
ask
White
you.
can have all her stuff, and she can be the voice of the relationship.
I'm going to ask a Barbara Walters type question.
Okay.
Which dwarf would you be?
Oh my God.
I feel like this is a BuzzFeed quiz.
Yeah.
You just take it. It's like, which one of the seven dwarfs?
Pick one of these cheeses and we'll tell you which dwarf you are.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of got a positive look on things. Probably happy.
Yeah.
He seems pretty good. Pretty content with his life. Diamond
Good.
miner.
I'm glad to hear it.
Hangs out with his boys all day.
How's your bonus baby doing? The box checker.
Asian dwarf baby, you mean?
Asian dwarf baby.
Hell yeah.
With the best actual name ever.
And possible lesbian Asian dwarf baby.
Fingers crossed.
You cross that.
I hope.
If she was a lesbian Asian dwarf, she could walk into any Fortune 500 company when she was like 19 and they'd go, "Oh, would you like a job?" She's
Right
like,
this way.
"No, I want the fucking building, bitch. Get out. I want that corner office.
I want a seat at the table.
I'm lesbian.
I'm a board member.
I'm a lesbian Asian dwarf baby.
Yeah.
I fucking own this this bitch.
I mean, she's 2, so I'm trying to like gear her towards some lesbian things. You know, I'm constantly just tossing softballs at her. Like, hopefully she gets into that thing. Playing a lot of Melissa Etheridge in the house.
Good.
A lot of Ellen.
Right.
Lot of Ellen.
Good.
Strong
Good.
Ellen vibes in my house. I'm trying to like gear her towards that because I'm like, you're half Chinese. You're a dwarf. If we can get the lesbian thing on you, that's great.
Because I gotta look. I want to be honest with you. The Asian is good in the intersectional wars, but it's not black.
It's not good at UCLA.
It's not Hispanic.
Yeah, kicking
It's not even
colleges.
really good for gay. It's going to hold you back at a few prestigious universities. So the Asian is not helpful. It's nice, but it's not a guarantee. Dwarf is the unknown.
Yeah.
We're just not sure. There's
the X
nothing.
factor.
There's nothing. There's no box to check. I think it's going to be helpful.
Sure.
Yeah.
We
I
have
agree.
2. We have an unproven helpfulness
Yes.
thing, and we have one that's being possibly discriminated against.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like when you combine that with lesbian,
Yeah.
you've weaponized the other
Right.
2
Yeah.
now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And see, here's the thing that I've been thinking about as well, is that with my daughter being both Asian and dwarf and fingers crossed lesbian, it can go 2 ways. Where if I'm a great father, Fortune 500 company, she's walking into that boardroom, she's got a seat at the table, she's on the college brochure, full ride scholarship,
Right.
all that's happening. If I'm a bad father, then I've just given birth to the most popular porn star on the planet.
Oh
That's
my God.
true. Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
Yep.
I mean, really, no matter what, the audience wins, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I
Different
don't.
category.
I don't want the second one.
Yeah.
Like I don't want
And look.
I don't want the new category on Pornhub.
And there's
Yeah.
2 parts to porn.
Yeah.
There's, the work you do
Enlighten
on
us.
camera, but then you got a gig off it.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
You got to take it on the road.
You can be one of the whack pack on Howard Stern. You
Right.
do fine, but you got a gig off it.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
hit the road. You're going to be in Zanies this weekend. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Now, in terms of pole dancing, Asian, come on.
Sure.
People invented acrobatics.
Yeah.
All right?
Gonna be good.
Dwarf, I mean, the pole is 9 feet for most of the chicks. It's 7 stories for the dwarf. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
you're the revolutions
Oh,
you're turning
the
around.
corkscrews.
Look, there's a reason. What the greatest gymnast in the world? What's her name? She's Nadia Comaneci.
oh, yeah. Simone Biles.
Simone Biles.
Simone Biles.
None of them have cracked 5 foot.
That's right.
Do
Yeah.
the math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
like them
there's-
compact.
There's
Yeah.
no gangly
No.
gymnasts.
Yeah.
Okay, they're very compact. All right,
Yeah.
so now you got. I'm just talking about pole work alone.
Silver lining, Brad.
Silver lining. If I'm
Got
a horrible
Asian.
father.
Yeah.
The acrobats of
Yeah.
the
Yep.
East.
Sure.
You got the kind of revolutions and gyros you can turn as a 3 foot nothing
Yeah.
chick, and then you got lesbian, which is a work ethic. You know what I mean? That's
grit.
You bring grit to the pole. So you got all. Yeah, it's this cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That the novelty of whatever many hours
Sure.
she's turning on that pole.
It's kind of like, and you'll know this, Adam. I mean, Gina, you'll probably you can say the stats off the top of your head,
Sure.
no doubt. But it's kind of like the McCaffrey family
yeah.
in football. Ed McCaffrey, the dad, Super Bowl winning wide receiver. His wife, track star at Stanford.
Yep.
They give birth to 3 boys that are in the NFL, including Christian. So Christian McCaffrey. So it's like me and my wife could create like the ultimate.
Right.
The ultimate stripper.
The ultimate only fan.
I'm saying it's
for
not-
the guys in the back. Look up. All right, I hate that I know this.
Oh, no.
But look up. There is a dwarf stripper. She's very popular. Her name is Lil Sassy Cassee. Lil Sassy Cassee.
Friend of yours?
God, I hate that she is. But she is. I mean, it's like I hate that you could call it and be like, oh, so you know her? It's like, yeah, I can't even get mad at that. Yeah, I know her. Yeah, she crawls up the pole. It's not so much climbing. She runs up the pole.
Really?
Whoa.
Well, all right. See, this is what I'm talking about because the payday for the work you do on camera, pardon the pun, is going to be dwarfed by the road work you do. But that opens the door for the road work.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's an important factor here.
I'm a little distracted right now at Sassy Cassee. She's a banging body.
Yeah,
Good for her.
She's 2'10".
Yep. World's smallest dancer, 2 foot 10 inches tall. You can do a lot by doing a little. Okay, good.
And she's working her size on that pole.
Yeah.
By the way, you can do a lot by doing a little. Sounds like a dwarf dating site. You can do a lot by doing a little.
Uh-oh, here she goes.
She's running. She's like a spider monkey getting a banana.
Yeah. She
I can
runs
say
up
that
the
because
pole.
she's white. Yeah.
All the way to the top and down.
Look at that.
I got to tell you, there's going to be a lot of paydays. A lot of paydays.
Either way.
And I can tell you that I'm friends with a few other people in the dancer community. They don't like it when Lil Sassy Cassee comes to town.
Oh, yeah.
Because she steals all the thunder.
That's right.
You know, they got, you got Cinnamon over there. Oh, what? A tall woman?
Yeah.
Seen it.
Dime a dozen.
Been there. No, she's got great implants.
Yeah, who
like
doesn't?
all of them.
Next.
Or you have 2'10" over. You're going to go to the 2'10".
Sassy Cassie's pole. That's where I bivouac. Put the whack in bivouac.
Brian's listening going, someone hit cherry pie.
Carole Baskin, Tiger King. She's going to join us
Love it.
right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
You will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
If you said Pulp Fiction,
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Well, animal rights activist and CEO of Big Cat Rescue, Carole Baskin, has joined us. Her website, bigcatrescue.org, is where you go if you'd like to help. Good to see you, Carole.
Hi, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I was looking down and I thought, what a perfect storm because, let's see, what was that? Tiger King was released in March of 2020, which is as the world was going into lockdown.
Yep.
Your super bingeable show was unleashed on the public.
Well put.
And it had to be bigger than you could have ever imagined. Is that correct?
It was. I would not have expected the show I thought I was working on, which would have been the Blackfish for Big Cats, to have a large audience because people want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated. So it turned out not to be anything like what I thought we were working on. And it ended up getting a lot more attention than probably a documentary would have.
Has it all been good or 70% good, 30% bad? Or like how, if you were to parse it out, how your life changed over the last couple of years, how would you describe it?
And I have a really bad connection, so I apologize. But, right after Tiger King came out for months, all I could do was every time I picked up my phone, it was people screaming death threats at me and just being so wretched based on what they had seen in Tiger King and believed without doing any kind of research. And so in the beginning, I was concerned that the false narrative that had been put out there would actually hurt tigers in the wild because people would no longer be willing to hear my message that we needed to stop the cub petting in order to save them. But I think it was because of Dancing with the Stars giving me a platform and access to the media where I could bring the focus back to the big cats that it has turned around from something that was very negative in the beginning to something that has proven to be much more positive. And I think this year we will actually get the Big Cat Public Safety Act passed, and that will end the abuse. So it will have been worthwhile once that happens.
Well, Carole, my name is Brad Williams. I am not associated with the Adam Carolla Show in case I say something wrong. Just a comedian. But one thing that you have to your advantage is anything negative that the Tiger King documentary says about you, on the right of you, you have Joe Exotic, and on the left of you, you have Doc Antle. So no matter what they say about you, you look like a spring peach.
That's true.
Like you look pretty great when those are the two extremes that are on the right and left of you. And I think really brings a lot of attention to your cause because we see these crazy guys and we go, oh, that's probably not who should be running a zoo.
I don't know how I feel about being paired with that community for the rest of my life when it's that community that I have been trying to stop all these years, but it seems to be what it is.
I'm so interested in your story, and again, and I think you can see maybe better this way. Really, my whole, for lack of a better word, problem with the doc was that I know we're all supposed to be fascinated because everyone's larger than life, but it's really hard to watch things that don't feel right happening to these big cats. And I'm sure you have the same opinion, which is, why you're so outspoken about it, which we appreciate. I saw in the documentary that you yourself, it seems like, used to be interested in the sort of the domesticated cub life. And I'm wondering, what was the change that you thought, like, this is not what I should be doing?
Well, actually, that was never my life. I've never bred a lion or a tiger. And it just goes to show how that narrative was so convincing, despite it being totally untrue.
Well, they had the videotape, and I'm wondering what maybe they spun that a little bit.
I'm absolutely sure, because like I said, we never bred lions or tigers. But what changed for me when we first rescued those 56 bobcats and lynx from the fur farm, and I initially put them into private homes thinking that that was better than having them be turned into fur coats, I very quickly learned that nobody was willing to take care of such a difficult animal for their entire life. And they started coming back to us. And that was when I vowed to start spaying and neutering everybody as quickly as I could. And that was back in the 90s. And so we did breed some of the smaller, more rare cats like ocelots and caracals and probably cats you've never heard of before. But it was before the internet. And as soon as the internet came out and I discovered that none of these cats in private ownership can ever go free and none of them serve any conservation value, then I stopped breeding in 1997 and actually a little bit before that.
What's the
so for all of their carrying on about how I was just the same?
Well, no, I didn't, and I certainly didn't mean it that way. I certainly didn't mean it that way. I thought it was interesting that it seemed like at first you're like, there's something about the baby cats that, it's okay to bring them in, and then clearly you were like, actually this isn't saving them. So I love that turning point story.
What's the plight?
Information from the internet.
Yeah, good. Docs. They were supposed to be the last place you could go. You could find the truth out about everything. They just get cooked. I mean, the only way you know it is if you're in it and you see it. Like there was that whole Michael Jackson one with Mark Garagos, and they cooked him in that. Like it's crazy how much cooking there is. And that
it's not worth doing anything about because who's going to listen and how long is it going to take and
good luck.
How do you retract it?
Well, they say a lie makes its way around the world while the truth is still lacing its shoes up. It's just that's how fast that goes versus how long the truth. But we're seeing it. You see it in real time. Like you see it now. You see it in the news cycles. Sure. You hear the stories. And then once they're in the zeitgeist, it's in, it's done. And at that point, you just have to live with it. So I got two questions. What's the plight of the big cat out in the world and in nature right now? Like what countries are doing it right? What countries are doing it wrong? Are the populations going up? Are they going down? Poaching? How's it internationally?
Big Cat Rescue has been part of the International Tiger Coalition since it was founded in 2007. And back then, there were only about 1,200 to 1,900 tigers left in the wild. And we made it our mission that by the Year of the Tiger, which starts next month, we would double that. And so we have 3,900 tigers left in the wild now, currently in India and Russia. But what has been keeping us from reaching even better numbers in the wild is all of this unregulated trade in America. So even though tigers are not native to America, America is the worst reason or the biggest reason for the extinction of the tiger in the wild. 3,900 is not a lot of cats. And the reason that those cats are being poached out of the wild is because in the US, they are used for those photo ops like you saw in Tiger King. And they can only use them for about a month before they can take a finger off of a child. And so then they become a huge liability and they end up being dumped into private ownership. nobody is prepared to take care of a cat who's going to be 500 pounds by the time it's 5 years old. And so usually by the time it's a year or two, they're calling sanctuaries like mine and asking us to bail them out, which we do. But a lot of those cats end up being killed, sold into the illegal trade for their parts, and that stimulates the demand. And so the two biggest things are that we have all of these cats that are creating a legal smokescreen for the illegal activities of poaching. And we have a letter from our State Department saying that they have no authority on the global stage to ask these Asian countries not to farm the tigers for their parts, because they look at us and they say, at least we know where our tigers are. You in America, you don't even know where your tigers are. And they're right. I mean, last year, we had 3 different situations where tigers were found wandering around neighborhoods in Texas.
Somewhere near Mike Tyson's house would be my answer. Don't want to know where our tigers were.
But like always, sorry, when we talk about like China and, these, how do we get out of this tangled situation? We stop accepting it. We stop buying, these mass-produced things from China. We stop accepting these cats for petting zoos.
I'm gonna put Chris on a quick piece of homework. Carole, have you ever seen the movie Manhunter?
I don't think so.
See, I always find this part of life very curious. You find the movie Manhunter, Chris, there's a crazy scene where there's a full-size Bengal tiger that is sedated in a zoo, and the blind woman is dragging her hand across this sedated Bengal tiger. It's kind of eerie and poetic and bizarre. That this was Silence of the Lambs before Silence of the Lambs.
Boy.
So this was Silence of the Lambs 5 years before Silence of the Lambs. It's a Michael Mann movie. It's
Brian Cox, right?
It's a great movie. He was the Hannibal Lecter.
You're right.
Better Hannibal Lecter. Brian Cox was. He was fantastic, but it's a crazy scene. But you of all people should have seen this scene.
Somebody should have brought it to your attention.
Someone should have brought your attention. Can we show it to her? Can you find it, Chris?
Yeah.
Manhunter.
Here we go.
It's Hannibal Lecter. Is that everything? Crazy killer guy. She's blind.
So why is she feeling this tiger up?
Unclear.
I
mean, look how the tiger's dressed. It's asking for it.
It's a giant Bengal tiger, and
he's out cold.
He's out cold. And I don't know if it's a live tiger or dead. It seems to be breathing and stuff.
Yeah, he has his eyes are winking.
Yeah, his eyes are blinking. Yeah.
This is bizarre.
I cannot be the first human being in the 60 years you've been on this planet and the 31 years since this movie's been out. Look at this scene. She's dragging her hand across the mouth. By the way,
That is horrifying to me, because if they're blinking, it means they're about to wake up.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Well, she didn't blink, but she's not really blind.
Her hand in his mouth.
This is bizarre. Your scent.
It's a full-size Bengal tiger. Wonder who the killer is.
Hard to tell.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the guy with the hair lip and the male pattern baldness.
Hugging it.
Oh, look how skinny that poor thing is.
Yeah, you can see his hip bones.
It's a Am I the only human being who's seen this scene?
Yes.
Watch Manhunter. It's a Michael Mann film.
Apparently.
It's strong. And Brian Cox is a better Hannibal Lecter.
I love him, so I can see that as an absolute truth. I got to stop looking at this albino in the back, though.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
See, to me, this is like, I had a, producer. You know when you meet someone and some girl and they have a name like Barbara Ann or something, and you go, oh, like the Beach Boys song, and they go, huh?
Never heard it.
How does this happen? How does someone not show you this scene in this movie, which was when wide release in theaters? You were not 14 when this movie came out. You could have bought yourself a ticket. Probably 87, 80.
What do you have to say for yourself?
93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
And yet I'm the only human in this building that has seen this Michael Mann victory.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
I love that as popular of a figure as Carole Baskin is, and as many people want to interview you, Carole, and people want to ask some crazy questions, some very harsh questions. Only Adam Carolla asked the very hard question of why did no one show you the movie Manhunter?
Oh, he's going to hold your feet to the fire.
I'm angry at all of you because it's a great movie, and Brian Cox is so good.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah. How could he not?
Succession, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Carole, I actually had a question.
You truly take the award for unique.
Love that. Carole, I have a question, and it's about your current husband. I'm fascinated that was he into tigers before he met you? Because in the movie, he's doing like photo shoots with you and loincloths, and he's all about the tigers, and he's like, or did you get him into it? Like, what? Where did you guys meet? Like, I'm fascinated by this relationship.
Well, thank you. And he prefers to be called my last husband, not my latest husband.
Oh, good point.
You know what? Good call.
We had a mutual friend. Her name's Mary Hessler Key, and she wrote a book called The Entrepreneurial Cat, which I just loved. And it had advice about sticking to the knitting, which is absolutely on target for me. But he was her best male friend. And I knew her because of us being in the animal community. And so she was having an event for No More Homeless Pets. And the idea was to have a huge spay and neuter program that keeps all of these cats and dogs from ending up in shelters and being euthanized due to overpopulation, which was right on target for everything I ever wanted to do. Even though I was already into the big cats, my main goal in life was to end this problem for domestic cats and kittens. So we were both invited to the thing. We were the only two people out of all of the recipients who failed to open the email that we got correcting the time to be at the aquarium for this event. And so we showed up there half an hour before anybody else and had some time to get to know each other and realized we had this mutual friend. And so he was not at all into protecting animals. And she had just dragged him to this thing to try and get him involved in protecting animals. And so about 3 weeks later, he finally called me back and we really hit it off after that. And to this date, I mean, that was in November 1st of 2002 that we met. And to this date, we still have not had our first argument, even when he showed up to our wedding wearing a tiger toga.
That's my point.
That's love.
He's wearing a tiger toga to the wedding, and you're saying he wasn't into animal conservation before.
That's a romantic gesture.
I thought that I was on new ground for getting my wife into pro wrestling, but she never shows up wearing
a singlet,
wearing a Hulk Hogan singlet to
Undertaker.
bed, despite my best efforts. But that's amazing that you got him into it that much. So really, my hat's off to you.
Do you know? Was it Tippi Hedren? Who was the blonde 50s?
Melanie Griffith's mother?
No, Tippi.
From the Birds.
Yeah,
Oh,
she was a big cat.
Well, Tippi is Melanie Griffith's mother.
Yeah.
But she was in. Yeah,
She
sorry,
has a
I didn't mean no
sanctuary,
to that,
right?
but she has a sanctuary, right?
Yes, Shambhala out in California.
You guys talk, or do you hate her guts?
No, I love Tippi. In fact, I tell this story about her. She had invited me to one of her donors that lived on this little island near where I am, because she was coming all the way from California. This was off the coast of Florida. And so we go out, we're on the boat all day, and we come back to the house, and she's trying to get her zipper down on her pants. And this woman is like 4 feet tall. She's really tiny, petite little woman.
Yeah,
and she could not get the zipper down.
Brad
And she
calls her
really
Stretch.
needed to go.
Yeah, sorry. She needed to go.
And so she's like, you got to help me with the zipper. And I was trying and I could not get the zipper down. And so finally I get down on my knees in front of her and I'm working the zipper. And that's when everybody else from the boat walks in. And they're just like, okay, we just.
The other question I was thinking about was Kate McKinnon, who's, one of the most versatile comedic or beyond actresses out there, is going to be playing you in the old Peacock Joe versus Carole thing. And I heard you talking about it on extra or one of the news outlet shows, entertainment news shows, saying you were pretty excited about it, but I don't know if you've seen any of it or talked to Kate or how that worked.
No, they are basing it on the Wondery podcast that came out in August before Tiger King came out. And the Wondery podcast was closer to the truth. It had an awful lot of the same, the guy who wrote it, Robert Morse, said that he was kind of led down this path by all of these great con men. And then in the end, he's like, but this is what I found out to be true. And he lays out the truth. And so I kept thinking through Tiger King that they were going to get to that point too, where they laid out the truth. They just never got to that part. So I'm really hoping that I know she's based her piece on Wondery because they reached out to us and asked if we would be willing to sign over my life's rights. And I said, no. And so they said, okay, we're going to do it anyway. And then
it's always a good sign.
So that's how that works.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And what do you guys think the tone of that's going to be?
Hard to say because, they made is it a movie or a series? I haven't watched it yet. On
8-part series.
Well, yeah, but I'm sorry, with the, was it called The Doctor Next Door with Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell? And that's a very serious piece.
Oh.
So I think and that's from a very famous podcast. So I think maybe these SNL alum are, wanting to stretch their wings a little bit.
Kate McKinnon is, she can do whatever she can fall into any character. But if you're looking for a blonde from with improv chops and sketch chops from a late night sketch improv TV show, Nicole Sullivan from Mad TV. Now it's a deeper dive.
Oh, I mean, that Mad TV is. I loved that show. I love the cast, and
she was one of the original castmates. And she
Absolutely.
looked. If you find the right picture of Nicole Sullivan and Carole Baskin, you'll go, "Oh, they look very similar." I think it's in the eyes. You must have been told that. Please, that was a huge hit. Nothing.
Never saw it.
You guys are about to say, nobody. Nothing.
Adam's going to send you over a list of required viewing. It's going to be that movie.
Manhunter.
Manhunter.
That's
Manhunter.
Manhunter.
Nicole
Never
Sullivan,
Manhunter.
and then many episodes of The Love Boat. But that's just because.
That's just yes. That'll be a palate cleanser.
I have a quick question on behalf of our buddy Brian, who's one of the co-hosts who's out today. He's doing a thing this year where every single day he's donating to a different charity and sort of hoping that we will all do the same. Obviously, what you do is important to so many of us, and I'm wondering if you have any ideas of where people might be able to send a donation.
BigCatRescue.org/donate.
Great.
Carol, you're doing the Lord's work, so keep it up, and thank you for joining us. And again, BigCatRescue.org is where you can go if you'd like to donate to a worthy cause.
Wow.
Carole Baskin.
Thank you.
This is a pretty...
I got to go look up Nicole Sullivan now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
There's a resemblance.
Wow.
There's something there.
Well done, Adam.
She's got chops, and she's gettable, so maybe we do our own thing.
Right.
There you go.
With your signature. You know what I mean? I'm not going to...
You're going to sign over the life,
With your
life
blessing.
story, so
Your
we can
blessing.
do it the right way.
We'll do it right.
Yeah.
The right way. Carole Baskin, thank you very much for joining us. All right.
Thank you.
Chris, now
That is right up there with Chris Carter and Godzuki. That is right up there.
Thank you.
Good pull.
Thank you. Although if they're in the same room, keep it under your cap. I need me some Brian Cox as the original Hannibal Lecter. Now, the thing about the original Hannibal Lecter is in Manhunter. This is homework for everyone. Go watch this movie.
Manhunter.
Yeah, Manhunter, sorry. Very stylized. This is Michael Mann, maybe around Miami Vice, had that vibe to it.
Okay.
It's a good story. It's based on the first book, like The Red Dragon
Right.
or something like that. And the thing about Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs is he turned into a cartoon character. Like
Yes.
they kept him in a dungeon.
Yes.
Sure. You know what I mean?
In a mummy's sarcophagus.
Yeah, this all strapped to a refrigerator dolly
Right.
and stuff. But
You can't give him a postage stamp, or else he'll
Take your finger.
He'll kill 500 people.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if you remember, it was like in the basement of some castle, and there's stone walls
Yes.
and rusty bars and madmen and stuff. This was not that. This was like a state-of-the-art facility where you would keep criminally insane mastermind, but you wouldn't put him in a dungeon, in a pit. And Brian Cox, I don't know. There's scenes when he's talking.
We're scrubbing.
There's this. He really came across like the criminal, not the cartoon criminal mastermind. He was that guy.
While they're looking that up, Adam, I feel like this is a holiday for you. I don't even know why you're at work today, because it is Paul Newman's birthday.
Paul Newman's birthday. Yeah.
He would have been 92 or something like that today. So, like, which car do you take out today to celebrate?
I will sit in his GT1 championship car from 1985 and eat my lunch after the show. And his brother is still alive.
Oh, I remember from the doc, he is himself very easy on the eyes.
Oh, yeah. I guess so.
Oh,
God,
yes.
He must have got a lot of residual trim.
You have to.
Paul Newman's
right?
brother.
The runoff.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can find Brian Cox.
While they're looking that up, I can't be the only one.
Range.
How could she have not seen that movie with that scene? It's a full-grown Bengal tiger, totally sedated, live, not a stuffed animal, nothing. And it's a long-form scene, and the blind woman's just dragging her hand along its teeth.
I wouldn't be surprised if she said, that's the scene that got me to want to save cats.
She probably knows the tiger.
That's what yes.
I'm just thinking of all the people listening to the podcast, having Carole Baskin on the podcast, just screaming, ask her about the dead husband. There's just screaming.
There's
You're going,
been enough of those
no.
questions.
There's more important things that we have to do.
What answer do you think we're going to get that you haven't heard already?
Exactly. No, but has anyone asked her about Manhunter?
No.
I have
Only
to.
by this podcast.
That's right. I have to ask you we don't even need images. Just think in your head. 3 men, because I often get accused of black simile. Here's a white one. Brian Cox, Powers Booth, and Albert Finney. They are interchangeable to me.
I got Powers Booth not in there, but Finney, yes.
Okay.
An older Powers Booth, though?
Yeah, like a Deadwood Powers Booth.
Okay.
No, I don't have Powers Booth.
Okay.
I think Red Dawn when I think Powers Booth.
I don't recall. But you'll accept an Albert Finney.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely accept Albert Finney.
Thank you.
And then there's a crazy, huge black man who played linebacker in the NFL named Brian Cox as well, who's
Then he goes before Powers Booth.
crazy. No.
Okay.
But looks just like him. Ironically, crazy. Looks just like him.
All right.
Can't tell the difference.
Max Pata, should we do? Let's see. All right. Here's a great Brian Cox as the original Hannibal Lecter. All right.
I'm in.
I mean,
you should be.
I like it. It's
That's
good,
great.
It's good acting, but I'm just missing that other inmate flinging his splooge at
right.
Jodie Foster.
That's the best part.
It's
missing something.
I just don't feel like it's real Hannibal Lecter, and also I'm such a Succession fan that I keep expecting him to just go fuck off.
Well, there it is. I'm glad.
Wow.
Now, here's the question. Is Carole going to watch that movie?
I doubt it.
No.
No. She has bigger fish to fry.
No
Bigger
kidding.
cats to not breed.
All right. Oh, God. We wanted to get to some Ted Koppel.
Oh, yes.
And
well, we do have news coming.
What's that?
Yeah.
I mean, he does do
Wait.
news.
Well, it's true, but
I'm a newsman.
But
Adam.
we do have. We were going to do some 2 Live Crew. Or Ted, did you bring a song in, Ted?
Listen. The last time I was here, I read some 2 Live Crew lyrics. It was very popular. I got hit up many times on Instagram. A lot of, I don't know what you call them, Insta-hoes slid into my DMs.
Wow.
And it made me very aroused. So I got to thinking, maybe I should read more lyrics, and then old Teddy can play a little more.
Please.
So I got a song. It's by someone who's performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. He's named after a canine.
Oh.
Snoop Dogg.
Okay, great.
This is a song called Bitches Ain't Shit But Hoes and Tricks.
I know this one.
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done. Then I hop in my coupe to make a quick run. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done. Then I hop in my coupe to make a quick run. I really like these lyrics.
Yeah, so nice. You said them twice.
They speak to me many times. I hop in the coupe. I get in the car. I hit the switches in my black 6'4".
Yeah, the hydraulics.
That's what you call them, yes.
That's right. Get the front end up, get the side up.
That's what I do. It really makes the newscaster hair flow well in the wind. And man, if I'll be damned, do the hoes not love that shit?
Oh, they love it.
Between that and that extreme side part, you have it going on.
Yeah.
That's right. And let me tell you, I used to know a bitch named Eric Wright. We used to fuck around and fuck the hoes all night. Tighter than a motherfucker with gangster beats. And we was ballin' in these motherfucking Compton streets. Beep that shit deep, and it was on. Number one song after number one song. Long as my motherfucking pockets were fat, I didn't give a fuck where the bitch was at.
Oh, this is definitely a different side of Ted.
This is one of the songs that Tim the Russian rapper would do.
Oh, in the back seat?
Yes. My Catholic big brother's fat friend lived in the apartment next to him. He used to go with me to the beach, and I'd take my Nate, my Catholic little brother, and then Team would come in, Team. And then he'd go, beach, he's saying shit, but hose and tricks, suck on these balls and leak on this dick. And he'd put the tape
I like
in.
my version better.
I know, he's like Dracula.
Well, let's hear yours once again, Ted.
But she was hanging with a white bitch, doing the shit she do, sucking on his dick just to get a buck or two. It's a bad economy.
Yeah, I know, it's right.
I'm trying to
Seller's
supply
market.
chain situation.
Yeah. And the few ends, she didn't mean nothing. Now she's suing, 'cause shit that she be doing ain't shit. Really great lyrics.
Expressive.
Bitch can't hang with the streets. She found herself short. So now she taking me to court. In a real conversation for your ass. So recognize and pass the DAS. This is up there with Mark Twain.
Yeah, no, it's Will Rogers, Mark Twain.
All the greats.
And you said that you were in a van with 3 gentlemen doing these lyrics? Listening to this kind of music?
I was in a Zuzu Trooper with 2 other gentlemen, yeah.
Adam, I'm not one to judge your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm a newsman. I simply just look at the facts. And the facts are, you've got to get some more hoes in your ride.
I know.
I think Team would agree.
They don't do the Catholic little sister thing. They do the little brother because they have the mentor.
Yeah, it's not a wife swap.
weird.
How are you going to get your dick wet with such dry nuts?
Yeah, you're right.
It's a question for the ages.
Yeah, he would put that together. He had the backhand like John McEnroe. When you really break down these lyrics dry, I can see why some people
Listen,
have
man,
a
A lot
problem.
of metaphor.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hop in my hoopty. We're going to go down and cruise these Compton streets. Bitches are going to know what's up when they see Koppel and Carolla rolling through.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And you're 64.
In my black 6'4". That's right. We'll hit some switches.
Hydraulics, man.
Yeah. We'll be dumping gin and juice all over them titties. That's what we'll be doing.
What is
Can I
Yeah.
make an appointment for us to go do this activity?
Well, we'll
Pencil you in.
pencil you in. What is Snoop going to do at halftime if this is all his songs?
He's really mellowed out. Remember, he has like a whole thing with Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I know, but how could one? Well, look, Brad, you get the fact that when somebody goes, hey, we got this corporate gig, it's great, but it's with these kind of conservative business guys and they need it really clean. So they need like a clean 20.
Yeah.
And you go, oh man, I gotta sift through this set because I don't know if I have 20 minutes that is clean.
Right.
You know
all
what I
the
mean?
way
Well,
through as
clean.
a through line, yeah.
So we need a Snoop Dogg song that he can do.
Mm-hmm.
So what song would we do if everything is littered with hoes and bitches?
Is he just coming on like he sort of does now and like being featured?
I think
just saying hello.
He's got to be because what
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
Maybe they're going to take little choruses from a bunch of different songs and maybe within the choruses.
Yeah, some Warren G, Nate
Yeah.
Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop's going to slip up, though, right?
He has to. We want him to.
Something's going to happen, right?
Definitely there's going to be a 15-second delay on this halftime
Yeah,
show.
but it's like you always say about Snoop. Like, we want to see him high. We want to see him with a joint in his hand. Like, we want to see him slip up and talk about bitches.
Well, I've been to his house, and I got high with him.
The visual of when you said you and Jimmy walking in, it was like you had little beanies on your head with the whirly on top. Like, hey, fellas, how are you?
Wait, you've been to Snoop Dogg's house?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say so?
Yeah, I've been to like his...
I'm Eskimo Brothers with Snoop Dogg.
Are you? Really?
We used to rail the same bitches, him and I.
Really? Back in the day?
Absolutely.
You did the devil's handshake with Snoop Dogg?
I believe they call it an Eiffel Tower.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that,
Snoop
Ted.
would be on one side, I'd be on the other. The bitch was in the middle, and then we would high five.
Wow.
Oftentimes play a little game of patty cake.
Wow. You must be a confident man, because I bet Snoop's packing the heat downstairs, right?
Listen, Snoop's doing okay. But don't think Mr. Teddy Koppel doesn't have a boom mic.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Shots fired.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I didn't even think of that.
Many people think I'm black from the waist down.
Wow.
Never.
Yeah, I always
Never
see
would've
you
thought of
sitting
that.
at the news desk. I think about the waist up, you know?
I've split some bitches in half.
What?
Gina, you're an attractive woman.
Thank you, Mr. Koppel.
Do you have ice packs ready? Because you'll need it after this, dick.
Wow.
You didn't know that.
A Peabody Award winner.
Unbelievable.
Can you believe it? Unbelievable.
All right, should we take a break?
I have a daughter.
And do some... She's practicing on the pole. We'll take a quick break, come back with the news, and Brad right after this.
Shoplifters are getting bolder and bolder every day, and Michael Rappaport has proof. The actor and friend of the show posted a video on social media that he took at a New York Rite Aid, where he claims that a guy loaded up his bags, walked out of the store like, the devil may care, and right in front of a security guard, no less. It's a 45-second clip, and I'm going to show you the whole thing.
Yo, I'm looking at this shit. This motherfucker, this dude is... I can't believe I'm seeing this shit.
Just walks right out.
This
just loaded up
motherfucker.
bags.
Yo.
Goes out after him.
This fucking guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid right here.
80th and 1st?
80th and 1st Avenue. He's walking down the street like shit is Gucci. Look at me in my face like what's good. I was watching him the whole time. My man just went Christmas shopping in January. He had the condoms.
Good.
The shampoo.
At least he's using protection.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, my theory is always this. The police if everyone just decides to do what they want to do, like a book drop, there's not enough police to do anything about anything. So, like, as a society, we really just, like, set examples. Like, we go, what happened to your friend? He went into the Rite Aid. He tried to steal a candy bar. He got wrestled to the ground, and the guy broke his jaw. Mm-hmm. Then you go, all right, I will share that story with everyone in the neighborhood. Right. And then you don't get the Rite Aid stolen.
Right.
Yeah.
But he showed up with a duffel bag, filled it up with a bunch of high-end shampoo and conditioner, and then walked past the security guard and walked back to his house. That sends a different message.
It sure does. We know what Rite Aid to go to.
Yeah,
first. And did you see that what do you want from me look on the security guard's face?
Well, that's the whole thing. Their hands are tied. And by the way, if you are a security guard and you're getting $13 an hour, whether you pull your hands out of your pockets or not, well, don't you just want to go home?
Why not?
Well, then what's the point of what is his job? What is he supposed to do?
Well, they used to... All these things like cops and squad cars and security and windbreakers and badges and uniforms, they used to just prevent people from doing things because you go, there's a cop right there. I'm not going to fucking do that thing. Right. Now we jump on the hood of the cop car and try to kick in the windshield while the cops are in the car throwing buckets. That society will come undone, unraveled like a fucking sweater where one of Carol's big cat's got a hold of a thread and just started running in the opposite direction. That's how fucking fast we'll come unraveled. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
It's all in the messaging.
Well, that and with, yes, the internet provides us with so much knowledge that is good, but at the same time, now there's people out there that, like, we know the difference between a police officer and a security guard,
Right.
in terms of what they can do, what they're not allowed to do. One of my first jobs, I used to work at Hot Topic. You're damn right.
Oh, nice.
I worked at Hot Topic, and I dressed pretty much how I dress now back when I worked there. So everyone had the tattoos and the gauges and all the weird piercings, and they just looked at me as a dwarf and went, yeah, that's weird enough. And I worked at Hot Topic, and I remember the speech they gave me when they're like, all right, if you see someone trying to shoplift, here's what you do. And I remember my mindset of being like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do a shoulder roll, no time for backup, and then do like
sweep the leg.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that to the guy that just stole like $30 worth of jewelry, and I don't get a raise if I stop him. So no, I'm not going to do it. And now word is out, and people know that.
Yeah. So look, cops need to be respected, need to be cops. Criminals need to be treated like criminals. I mean, I was yelling at someone the other day, which is like, we're living in some alternate universe. Diet and exercise. It's life. It's gravity. It's just diet and exercise. You want to lose weight, diet and exercise. There's no more books. There's no more clubs. There's
Give me
no
the
more
pill.
deal a wheel, meal a wheel deal.
Cruise
it's
to lose.
Just diet and exercise. That's what crime is. That's what society is. That's what education is. That's what public safety. It's just you go now New York's going to do, they're going to get more. I mean, basically New York's got a black mayor, so he gets to go, well, we're going to do more plainclothes guys out there patrolling now, redhead guy can't make that proclamation because then that's racist.
Right.
But now maybe, but it's just right back to what it was. Just guys on the street looking at, and by the way, this whole, like, you can't judge, you can't profile, that's all cops do. They just you see a fucking Asian woman walking down the street, she's probably not packing heat. You see a young black guy, higher chance he's packing heat. You're going to have to stop more young black guys than you are elderly Asian women. That's the way it is. Sorry, but the good news is you'll get the guns off the street and it'll be a safer community.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole thing where it's like, yeah, but if what one innocent person is stopped and detained and pulled. Tough shit. That's what cops do. Sometimes they stop you and they think you're doing something. I mean, and this notion of like, I've been pulled over 1 million times. I've been stopped. I got yanked out of an airport for arguing with someone behind a counter once. Like, it just, shit happens. You got to let cops do what they're going to do.
Well,
you got to empower them.
You kind of stop for a second and you go, what would happen if that same scene that we just saw Michael Rappaport film, what would happen if that happened in Singapore?
He became
to death.
Cane him to death.
Yeah,
look, it's in an extreme way.
Yeah.
An extreme way. It's like, how come there's no gum on the sidewalk in Singapore? How come there's no graffiti?
Caning.
Because they cut your fucking hands off.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's an extreme.
Sure.
But we've proven that a deterrent is effective. Like, people can not spit their gum out.
Yeah.
They can not graffiti shit, and they can not rob trains of Amazon packs. Like, you can coach them up not to do that.
During the first parts of the pandemic in India, we would see videos of when people were out on the streets, the cops would be beating people, saying, like, get back to your fucking homes. And it's like, then less people started going out of their houses.
And then they do, so then you'll get this one from your buddy in Santa Monica. He'll go, do you want to live in that sort of society? It's like,
are those my choices?
Well, the sort of society we're living in now is homeless everywhere.
Yeah.
Drugs everywhere.
Human shit on the streets.
Trash everywhere. And businesses closing down because people are walking in and helping themselves. So that's what we get if we don't live in the society you don't want to live in. We're living in another dystopian society
so
right now.
So let me ask you that question.
Right.
Yeah. Is this where you want to live?
Rules, law and order, blah, blah, blah. And parents, you got to raise your fucking kids.
Well, I have somebody who agrees with you.
Christ. It's insane. It's like, what? It's like, what's all this crazy murder? Like, we got to get these guns off the street. Is it like the guns? Who's shooting the guns, you fucking retards? And by the way, like the three biggest, there's three kind of notable, scary, murdery things in the last week or so. You got the cops that were killed in New York because the guy had the gun or whatever, and it's like, so then all the politicians go, where are these guns coming from? I don't know. Ask the chick who was working at the furniture store, the UCLA student who was fucking gutted with a knife with a crazy person. Where are these knives coming from? And then ask the chick who was pushed onto the tracks on the fucking subway station.
Where are these subways coming from?
Where are these arms coming from? Where are these hands coming from? Look, it's fucking nutty people. Knives, we all have them. We all have them at home in the drawer. Well, let's dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Let's get to the root of the problem. Remember the roots of all the problems? We're going to get to the roots of everything.
Let's roll up our sleeves.
You don't sit around and go, what are these guns doing?
Yeah.
You go, what's a 17-year-old think would be a good idea to pick up a gun and shoot somebody in the face?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, here's someone who agrees with you, and boy, did she pay. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jenny Nguyen has been fired from the show because of her take on the riots in 2020. The network, Bravo, announced that Nguyen was let go from the show on Tuesday, acknowledging that it made the decision in direct response to her social media posts that many said were racist. She's Vietnamese, by the way. What are the racist tweets? Well, I'll give you both of them. She says, I'm sick of people saying cops need more training. You had 18 years to teach your kids it's wrong to loot, steal, set buildings ablaze, block traffic, laser people's eyes, overturn cars, destroy buildings, and attack citizens. Who failed who? And in another tweet, she says, hundreds of blacks shot and many killed, including children, by other blacks every week. Over 1,000 officers violently injured, some permanently, by rioters. Anarchists rioting in the major cities every night, which has caused billions of dollars of destruction to private and public property. And you still think police officers are the problem. You are an idiot. And the show responded quickly, saying,
This is what's caused the whole thing.
Yeah.
These fucking pussy coward producers responding.
They responded
to
quickly.
the obvious truth of what this woman is saying.
But wait, there's more, unfortunately. They responded by saying, we recognize we failed to take appropriate action once her offensive social media posts were brought to our attention. Moving forward, we will work to improve our processes to ensure we make better informed and more thoughtful casting decisions. But wait, there's more. Nguyen has apologized. She said on her Instagram, I want to acknowledge and apologize for my deleted Facebook post from 2020 that resurfaced today. At the time, I thought I was speaking out against violence, but I have since learned how offensive and hurtful my words were.
Well, so we're in this horrible situation where the majority of violent crime is coming from a minority of young black men. That's the reality of it. It's not black women. When everyone goes, it's not elderly black men. It's like there's a pocket that is overrepresented in the violent crime department.
But not in the rioting department.
No.
That seems to be colorblind.
But we got to talk about white supremacy being the biggest domestic threat this country faces and not give this any ink. Now, you're not going to solve a problem if you fire everyone that speaks out against it or raises a voice or whatever. You want to solve a problem, you got to figure it out. What's going on? Why is this happening? Who's doing it? Focus your attention. It'd be like going, oh, I want to build. We'll leave our country or we'll leave Mexico out of it. It'd be like if somebody said, we want to secure the border. If Canada want to secure the border. And then they went, all right, where should we put the checkpoints? That's just anywhere in Canada.
Wait a second.
But don't you want it like along the border? Yeah, but we'll just put it anywhere.
So then you're not really securing the border.
Well, you may get lucky and get some checkpoints on the border, but the reality is it's a group, it's an ethnicity, it's black, it's a certain age, it's a tight age, and it's a disproportionate amount of violent crime that comes from that group. So you're not doing them a service by pretending it's not happening that way. It needs an intervention at this point.
We've had the same conversation about homelessness.
Right.
You're doing a disservice by walking by and pretending like everything's fine.
Right.
But you're doing a disservice to them.
Yes.
All of us.
And the reality is black people statistically kill black people, white people kill white people. The groups sort of kill their own, which is weird. Well, I kind of like it, but it makes sense. They live amongst it. But there's a ton of young black men getting killed by a ton of other young black men, and it's time for an intervention, and there is no intervention because everyone is scared shitless of getting their shit pulled down and getting their show canceled if they say anything about it. So then we have to then hire, like we need a black police chief so he can say it because a white police chief couldn't say it, and that's where we're at now with the race relations.
I'm looking at this thing from a completely different perspective as maybe a show business person or a producer, where I'm looking at a show, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, where I go, don't you kind of want conflict on that show?
Isn't that the point?
Don't you want some batshit crazy people to say some batshit crazy things so you can, like, it's like, what? No, if you're watching The Real Housewives of whatever city, you want conflict. You want people with differing opinions to argue with each other because that's going to please the viewer. You don't want a bunch of housewives that are scared to say anything because they're going to get canceled. So they
and if you want a villain, fine, call her the villain.
Yeah, call her the villain, and then make her out to be the villain, and then have everyone fight with her. Great, it's going to be entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, she sides with the cops, and she's the one who's getting thrown off the air. That's essentially what's happening.
And I know we've talked about this before, but
by the way, also, if you say, I side with the cops and not with these violent felons, and then someone goes, that's racist. That's not racist. It could be any violent felon. It doesn't matter.
Well, and that's the thing, that it used to be fine. These pussy, whatever, you apologize, you keep your job, okay. But you don't keep your job.
No.
So what? Okay. Well, let's talk about one that we don't hear very often. Another crime. It is in New York. I gotta know, because I think this is the building version of a catalytic converter. The off-Broadway production of Perfect Crime turned out to be the perfect show to do this in. Theater Center in New York City. The murder mystery had to cancel several performances due to a crime. Someone stole all the copper piping in the basement. The lead actress showed up and arrived at the theater last Friday, noticed there was no heat, there was no water, so she went down to the basement, discovered water spraying everywhere because there were no pipes. She also noticed the glass door in the basement had been broken and there were bullet casings on the floor. She called police and they're investigating. So far, no leads. Meanwhile, 12 shows had to be canceled while plumbing work was being done. So is this what we do now?
Yeah.
Well, when you find a meth head with a new 60-inch TV, you can kind of get it. Maybe just find out who's got that.
It's scary. Well, the good news is I know Broadway actors, and they have skills way beyond the stage.
That's
so someone probably just went to their van, grabbed their torch, grabbed some flux, sweated a few, They're probably sweating copper.
No, I think you're right.
They probably had couplings just rolling around the van, if I know actors.
Right.
So they probably
Especially
took care of
off-Broadway,
it in-house.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
inside job.
Copper's expensive, and we have now created this weird sort of nutria. You know what nutria are?
These big, giant beaver rats.
They're they're beaver rats.
I don't know how else to describe them.
They were brought.
Weren't they from?
Sounds like a B horror movie.
Well, I
Beaver
remember
rats from outer space.
They were brought to Louisiana, right?
By the Tabasco family.
Wow,
and
specifically.
They were going to use them for their pelts or whatever, and then a storm blew over their cages. Now they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Right? But we're in this little nutria rat part where it's like people just scouring around, picking stuff up, pulling stuff out. If you have an aluminum ladder, the aluminum's worth something. The copper and the conduit will pull the copper out. Lena was telling me there's a big copper valve that was in front of his shop that they were using they cut that out. They stole that. Like we're now... It's not, it's not international jewel thief.
No.
It's a bunch of street urchins just like crawling around, like grabbing wire materials, literally the elements now, the copper and aluminum.
This is Mad Max.
Yes, this is what it's come to. I mean, the train is kind of the same thing, like just people climbing onto the train, busting the stuff over and
picking
pulling
through,
whatever.
Yeah.
These aren't criminal masterminds. These are just weird
Opportunists.
junky kind of drug induced, whatever homeless urchin-y street, look out.
Yeah. So here's a question. This debate's been going on for decades, as far as I understand. Everybody's down with getting rid of the penny. And everyone's like, oh, no, the sentimental, we need the penny. But it's copper. So don't we want to save that copper for something else? Nobody even uses cash anymore.
They're not in circulation. Brad, I have a theory.
Okay.
The pennies, I haven't even seen one in a while. Like they're coming out of circulation. They keep trying to get rid of them and pull them out of circulation. Right about the time Brett Favre was making those commercials with copper-infused everything, socks, knee braces,
microbial,
with the back brace, got copper with copper. And then Jerry Rice showed up with his copper socks. All of a sudden... pennies start. We start. Where are all the pennies in society? I don't know. Well, look no further than Brett Favre.
Wow.
Brett Favre.
He's got copper everywhere.
It's the perfect crime.
At least we found that criminal.
That's what happened. All went to Brett Favre's socks.
Wow.
He distracted you with his dick pics while he was stealing your copper from right under your nose.
The prestige.
Right. Yes.
Unbelievable.
Look it up.
I think you're onto something.
It was right about the same. If we made a chart of when pennies started to lose their favor in society and when Brett Favre started to show up on TV with, I got a copper-infused milkshake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look it up.
Yeah. I think this is the next great heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it happen.
It did happen.
Got my eye on Favre.
He's crafty.
Do we have time for one more that'll give us a little bit of hope?
He's elusive, like he was in the pocket. Yeah.
It's gross and sad, but maybe it'll help. Tennessee is launching a Trash for Beer initiative, and it aims at cleaning up the state by offering folks a free pint of beer if they spend some time picking up trash. More than 20 craft breweries across the state are participating in the Pick Up for a Pint campaign. Volunteers will meet up at a designated location, clean up the area. When they're done, they get their one beer.
Good.
Great.
Good.
Give them incentive.
Yeah.
Some people might say, but it's beer, they're promoting alcoholism, whatever.
This is shit.
I'm for trying anything. Because when you look at, there's a new construction project going on at LAX right now. It's a bunch of stuff is happening there.
It shit's been for 30
it's been
years.
going on for 3-4 years. But when people are like, there's so much traffic at LAX, they got to do something. Well, cool, they're going to try something. Will it work? Probably not. But they're trying something. This is something, how fast would that train track get cleaned up? They're like, hey, pint for you.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I think this is perfect. This is like a great hipster meetup activity. And I think that's who it's for. Because this isn't
good.
Yeah, you're not just going into Ralph's and getting your, 6-pack of Bud Light. These are craft breweries and everyone's going to get together like hipster meetup and then they'll have their beer and then they can Instagram it.
They'll have, instead of just like the wooden sticks that have the nail on it to help pick up trash, there'll be like a steampunk cane.
Yes.
Where they're going to
The guy will have a monocle.
Artisanal.
Yes.
Some guy's going to be doing it with a top hat.
I like it.
Look, to make everyone's point, I've said a million times, there's trash everywhere. Everyone dumps their trash. LA's a big trash heap. Everything's on the ground, but no aluminum cans. Those have a value.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People walk around, they pick them up, and they bring them to the recycling place, and they get paid a couple of cents. They have value.
Yeah.
That's what the beer is. The
Right.
beer is giving the aluminum can value.
Little carrot.
And you see everything on the ground, but you don't see any aluminum cans.
You're right.
Well, there's millions of aluminum cans. They're just not on the ground because they're of value to somebody.
They're worth something. Yep.
All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
I should tell you guys that Brad Williams is going to be at the Wilbur Theater in Boston, which is a beautiful old theater. And congratulations. It's a big, beautiful theater.
Thank you. Less than 100 tickets left, so
Awesome.
As you hear this, get on it.
It is a great venue. And then also Caroline's on Broadway, February 5th and 6th. Now, Wilbur's going to be February 4th, and then Flappers out here in Burbank. That'll be February 18th and 19th. Carole Baskin, of course, bigcatrescue.org. Me, Brea Improv, February 6th. They'll taping shows there with Bill Shatner and Dennis Quaid. And you can go to amcroll.com and check out Truth Yeller with TJ Miller. That'll be up at the Daily Wire as well. Live shows all over the place. So just go to adamcarolla.com for that. You can pre-order my book, which is coming out as well on Amazon. Until next time, Adam Carolla for Gina Grad and Brad Williams and Carole Baskin saying mahalo.
I'm a little distracted right now at Sassy Cassee. She's a banging body.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She's 2'10".
Yep. World's smallest dancer, 2'10" tall. You can do a lot by doing a little. Okay, good.
And she's working her size on that pole.
Yeah.
By the way, you can do a lot by doing a little sounds like a dwarf dating site.